You came for the pint, but you ended up in Scary Larry's House of Horrors. Wrong turn, bitches. Scary Larry's House of Horrors Black History Month special coming at you live. My name is John.
My name is Lloyd.
My name is Scary Larry.
Tonight we're going to talk about another movie that was created by and or features black actors, written by a black writer, or directed by a black director for Black History Month. Now, before we get into the movie, as we've been doing every single week this month, we're going to urge you to go to blackhistorymonth.gov. Blackhistorymonth.gov, the website, is brought to you by several other websites and subsidiaries such as the Library of Congress, the National Archives, the Smithsonian, and the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. I decided to go to the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum and kind of read up on some of the Black history stuff they have there, and I read a pretty interesting article you should check out. It's called The Nazi Persecution of Black People in Germany. And it's just one of those things you never think about. But around World War II time, there were approximately a little bit over 1,500 black people that were living in Germany at that point in history. Germany had African colonies, Cameroon being one of them. And of course, because they were such fucking wonderful people, the Nazis deemed black people as racially inferior to their whole Aryan ideal. It was a really good article. I suggest you go check it out. But also, something we haven't mentioned in this whole thing is, go to your local fucking library. Like, nobody talks about libraries anymore. Libraries.org is the website to get you into all kinds of different libraries, public libraries, different types of genealogy libraries. There's over 17,000 libraries in the United States of America. And I don't think about it all the time. I've got a good library in my town. I'm sure Larry and I'm sure Lloyd have them as well. I think in the age of the internet, we kind of forget that we can go and physically take out this media and see what we like. So that's my
I'll be going to the library on Wednesday night, Sean.
Well, were you studying for something? What are you doing?
I am not studying for anything. The Bridgeport Public Library, which was my library, obviously, my whole life. There is an author going to be there doing a talk about blaxploitation cinema.
Oh, so, yes. Yes, you sent me that. Correct.
So I'm going to go check that out.
Awesome. Well, maybe when you're there, you'll take something out.
Maybe
when you're there, maybe when you...
Last girl who said that to me, it got troublesome, but...
Hey. Maybe you'll utilize the Dewey Decimal System while you're there?
I don't know that they still use the Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
They still have a card catalog.
They gotta have card catalogs.
I don't know, guys.
Do you think they abandoned the card catalog?
I do. This is
I feel
2024.
I'm trying to. I do go to my local library in Newington, Lucy Robbins.
You also don't have, when you pick up the phone, you also don't have to ask the operator to connect you to something.
No.
I don't know if you know that.
Klondike 5? No?
Yeah.
Can you still dial 411 for like...
I asked Mary J. Blige. I'm not positive.
Yeah. I got that reference. Well, I mean, you are asking the right guy because Larry is the last person in Connecticut with a landline.
I was waiting. There she is.
It'll probably go off during this episode.
It probably will. Yeah, it did last time.
So what was your library in Newington there?
Yeah, Lucy Robbins Wells Library, and it's a great place. It's a great resource place.
Yeah,
you got music, movies, DVDs, Blu-rays, books.
A lot of people forget the movies at libraries. Like, you can get a ton of Blu-rays, DVDs. I don't know about VHS anymore, but Tons of movies available for rental at your public library.
Tons, yeah. Don't
Yeah.
even have to pay.
This commercial for local libraries brought to you by The Pint,
Yep.
a pop culture podcast, and Scary Larry's House of Horrors. Let's talk about Candyman.
Dun, dun, dun. I don't know why that noise happened.
I
don't
liked
know.
it.
All right.
Hey! Fire it up! 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 Fire it up!
All right, so Candyman came out at the Toronto International Film Festival. Some people say TIFF. 9/11, 1992. And then regular release on October 16th of 92. If you don't know what Candyman is, I don't know why you would be listening to this, but if you don't, basically...
Maybe they just like us, Lloyd.
Yeah, well, that could be too. Well,
yeah.
You guys anyway.
Yeah, right. True.
You are good looking, but you are kind of a fucking creep. But
let's
not get into that. Let's not get into that right now.
A creep. Chicago-based grad student investigates the urban legend of Candyman for a graduate thesis and becomes entangled in the whole horrifying supernatural slasher love story.
Well, she kind of entangles herself. All right.
Yeah, right.
Let's call it what it is.
Big time. And I did want to point something out that if Candyman ever at any point might have had an alternate title, it would have been Cigarette Smoking the Motion Picture.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone in a restaurant must smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
Sweet fucking shit, these people smoke a lot.
Well, listen, John, have you ever done a thesis?
I've never done a thesis, no.
Many cigarettes need to be smoked
It's required.
during a thesis. Yes.
So this is directed by Bernard Rose, best known for, horror film Paper House.
Great fucking movie, dude.
Yeah, I've heard it was good. I've never seen that.
So good. I did a article for Horror News Network, I think 12 years ago now, just listing some little known movies that people should check out, and that was on that list. Paper House is really good.
Never even heard of it. Okay.
What the
Yeah,
fuck?
it's on my list. I gotta check it out. Biographical Beethoven movie called Immortal Beloved with Gary Oldman and someone you just don't see enough of anymore, Isabella Rossellini.
Hot.
Yes, hot. And then another, Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy did that film version. Also born in London, but he worked with Jim Henson on The Muppet Show and the Dark Crystal movie. I don't know if you knew that. This is a good one. Directed the uncensored version. I'm sure it's the censored version as well, but of Frankie Goes to Hollywood's Relax.
Don't do it.
Right.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I do know that there's two versions of that video.
So they're two separate versions, not just the same version with like.
The one that I know is the popular one was just them at at a hall playing. And I think I've seen another version and said to myself, why is there, but I don't remember it being unsent. Like, I don't remember it being like titties or dicks or anything hanging out. If it was Frankie Goes to Hollywood, it'd probably be dicks. Let's be honest.
Screenplay also by Bernard Rose, based on the story by Clive Barker called The Forbidden, with some changes to it. I think Bernard Rose made it his movie.
Yeah, it was a British story,
right?
Kind of talking about the class system in Liverpool, which is where Clive is from.
Yeah,
and Bernard Rose said, "Well, let's flip this motherfucker and put it in Cabrini Green."
Yeah,
in Chicago. I was thinking of actually talking about the legend, but forget that. The filming of this movie took place pretty quickly, November 4th through December 28th of 1991, with 3 days of filming in the aforementioned Cabrini Green housing project in Chicago.
I would love to see some behind the scenes footage. You know what I mean? Because guys, listen, Cabrini Green is like Cabrini Green was depicted in the movie, minus Candyman. I mean,
I have never personally been to Chicago.
I've been to Chicago. Yeah.
Is it good?
Yes.
Yeah. Cabrini Green's been gone for a long time now.
Cabrini Green, am I incorrect in saying this, is the projects that they lived in Good Times, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Also the projects from, did you ever see Cooley High?
Yes, which
with
is what
Freddie
they,
Freddie Boom Boom Washington.
Yes. Yep.
That was Cabrini Green as well.
Okay.
And even more recent, Hardball, Keanu Reeves
Never saw it, but I know that it's set
with
in
the
Chicago.
little black baseball team. That was Cabrini Green as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's gone now, right? They've raised it. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Which is normal. You know, Cabrini, it's funny. Cabrini Green reminds me a lot of Pequannock Apartments in Bridgeport. A lot less of them. There was only 2 huge towers and Pequannock projects in Bridgeport. Same complete vibe. I think I told you a story about the kid who stole my wheelchair while I was working for the ambulance company there.
I don't think you did. I don't think you did.
At
Larry's got
gunpoint.
so many stories.
At gunpoint, like a fucking 10-year-old kid stole.
Holy shit.
I had a wheelchair because I was going to pick up a patient to bring to dialysis. Dude's like, yo, I want that wheelchair. I'm like, why? Because I was just really curious. He's like, I want to sit down. And I pointed to the bench that was right next to us. I said, well, you can sit here. And he pulled out his gun. He's like, I want that wheelchair. So I just rolled him a wheelchair. There you go.
I would have liked it better if he pulled the gun on you and then said something really cool like, bench ain't got wheels, bitch.
Yeah, something. Whatever he said, once the gun came out, he became a proud wheelchair owner.
There you go.
Yeah. But Pequannock also knocked down, you know, I think through the like 90s, early 2000s, across America, they started just tearing down these housing projects that, you know, were high in crime, etc.
Thanks for the Cabrini Green film historical lesson.
There you go.
Sweet. Pretty sweet. Also filmed in University of Illinois, Penn Central Freight Yards, and other random locations, and then Hollywood Studios as well.
I want to throw one thing in there as we're talking about Cabrini Green. Is as we get into the movie, we'll talk about it, but there's a whole, like a central plot element is this murder of a woman named Ruthie May being killed because her medicine cabinet was attached to the apartment next to hers, and the killer was able to get, that was a real fucking case.
Right.
Now, obviously it wasn't Candyman, but this woman, her real name was whatever, Ruthie May or Ruthie Jean, whatever it was.
Ruthie May McCoy.
Okay.
Oh.
So her real name was Ruthie May, and she was murdered by some guy in the next apartment, or a guy who broke into the next apartment, came through her fucking medicine cabinet as she was in her bed and murdered her. And they didn't even change the name in the movie. They utilized like real pieces of history.
It looked like real. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
had the same name. So maybe it was real newspaper. Yeah. So yeah, I was totally going to go right into that, but you took it.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
No problem at all.
Damn it, John.
I got a couple other little things here. So to keep the budget low, basically Rose instructed special effects manager Martin Bresson to use traditional effects instead of digital effects.
Works great.
Yeah, it was good. The honeybees were controlled by a bee handler, Norman Gary, who actually does it for quite a few bee movies.
Whoa, hey. Like a bee movie?
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay. All right. So it could have been could have been like B grade movies or the ever popular B movie.
B movie, yeah.
Starring Jerry Seinfeld,
right?
as a CGI bee.
Yeah.
What is it with all the honey in this place?
Why is there so much honey?
Oh no, I stung that guy. I'm gonna die.
And what's with combs?
Speaking of bee stings, Tony Todd negotiated a bonus of $1,000 for each bee sting he got.
Yeah.
Which was 23 bee stings, considering they had 200,000 bees. I say that was pretty good. He came off pretty cheap.
I'm rich, bitch. The scene where the bees are in his mouth.
In his mouth, yeah.
Bees are in his mouth.
For real, yeah. He's got a little contraption. The bees go in there just to protect his inner cheeks.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, the bees on their faces were just little baby, freshly hatched bees.
Yeah.
So they don't sting and they don't fly. So
Manster, I don't want to take this from you.
Around.
If I do, demerit me. But then the other kicker for this whole scene is that Virginia Madsen is allergic to bees.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally amazing.
Yeah.
There's no way. If I'm allergic to bees, You can't do that.
There is no way. Jalen is really into this acting thing and wants to act. Jalen would have dropped out of this movie.
I
As
would
soon
have
as they
dropped out
told
of
her
this
there'd
movie.
be bees on her, she's out. Not a
Yeah.
fucking chance. Ain't happening.
If I got onto set with Tony Todd in the Candyman regalia, I would drive home.
Yeah.
I'd drive the fuck home from that guy.
Yep.
Right? So I
Yep.
get it. I'm okay with it.
Yep. And one more thing, as you said, she was allergic to bee stings, but she was also hypnotized. So Rose had hired a hypnotist. I was going to say hypnotizer.
Hypnotizer. It sounds like a metal band.
Hypnotizer.
Right.
Last weekend I saw Hypnotizer open for Judas Priest.
I was going to say it sounds like a Judas Priest song.
Yeah. It sounds like a Judas Priest album.
Yeah.
Hypnotizer.
Coming in August of 2024, Judas Priest's 17th studio album, Hypnotizer.
Yes, it's Hypnotizer.
Oh man! So I guess I'll go back. You kind of bowled right over that, but
Sorry.
no. So all the scenes where she's confronted by Candyman, she's hypnotized, and you could just totally see it if you know it, and then you watch the movie. Her face totally changes. It's weird. Like her face just gets more relaxed and slack, and her eyes just take on this sort of, I don't know, ethereal quality. But yeah, so she had some sort of keyword that they would use to put her in that state, and they filmed all those scenes like that.
Can I add to that something I read? Because I'll be honest with you, I did not read that she was actually hypnotized. But what I did read was the reason they chose to use the hypnosis angle is because they wanted to be different from other horror movies and not have her screaming throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
So every time she encounters him, she never screams, really.
Nope.
She screams heavily in one scene when she wakes
I've
up
been hypnotized
to something horrible. But when she comes across him, and they also do that awesome Bela Lugosi eye shine thing in certain scenes with her. But yeah, I thought that was really, really good filmmaking.
Other than that, we got a great score by Philip Glass, which I've listened to twice in the last couple days. It's fantastic.
It is.
It's perfect. It is a perfect score.
What is a perfect score? 300?
Well, it depends on what you're playing.
Yeah, bowling it is.
Bowling, sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take us to the cast.
Assemble your crew.
Let's talk about the cast. We're going to start off with Virginia Madsen. By the way, in this section of the pint, we're going to objectify a woman real quickly. Very nice breasts. Very.
I'll just get it out now. She is so great in this.
She very great in this movie, but her breasts are very good too.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah.
I felt really filthy disgusting
the way they float.
when not just that, when she's in that bloody bra and she's all terrified because she may have murdered a dog and people.
Take a shower.
That scene is so like sad to watch, but I'm also staring at her nipples within the bra. I'm gonna admit it. I'll just admit that right now.
Sean.
I know. Look, it's the pint. I'm admitting things here. I'm admitting.
All right. That's fine.
Earlier episode, I admitted that if I found out that Famke Jensen was a man, and I would still go home and fuck her. You know, I've admitted these things. All right.
All right.
Virginia Madsen plays Helen Lyle. She was in Sideways with Paul Giamatti. She was in Dune, the David Lynch one, and the 2019 Swamp Thing television show that got
I didn't
canceled.
know that.
Yeah, it got canceled the day it aired, I think.
Sister of who?
Michael Madsen, Mr. Blonde.
Mr. Blonde.
Are you going to bark all day, little doggy? Or are you going to bite?
You shoot me in a dream, you better wake up and apologize. I know that's not his line, but it's a line directed
But then
at
he
him.
goes, pew, pew.
Yeah.
Pew, pew.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I love that movie. Larry! All right, enough of that.
Yeah. You know, remember answering machines? You remember?
I do remember those, yeah.
So mine, when I was a teenager, you would call my house and it would ring, ring, ring. And then all you would hear is nice guy Eddie, Larry, stop pointing that fucking gun at my dad. And then like 5 bolt fucking shots and then it would beep. That was it.
Marvin Nash.
Marvin Nash. Oh, the other one. What's the other one? Shut the fuck up, Marvin Nash. Shut the fuck up, Marvin. I'm dying. run.
When he started, after he got, I was so annoyed by Mr. Orange when he got, can you believe she shot me, Larry? Shut up. Shut up. Man up and take it.
Say the
no
fucking words. I'm not gonna die. You're not gonna die.
Yeah, why are they singing? What's happening?
It's so weird. I love that movie.
How did we get? I don't know how we got here.
Yeah. Michael Madsen. As the Candyman himself, who does in sequels get the name Daniel Robitaille, but he does not get it here. We have Tony Todd, Hartford, Connecticut's own Tony Todd. Connecticut is the Pints home state, and the Manster and Tony Todd have something in common. They are both UConn alumni.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. You might know Tony Todd from other horror franchises such as Hatchet. You might know him from the Final Destination franchise. And he is one of Ed Harris's goons in The Rock.
And Platoon. You know him from Platoon?
He is in Platoon as
He's
well.
a lot of shit.
Yeah.
He was chaining the doors. He was chaining the doors at Principal Joe Clark's high school.
Oh, was he in that?
Yeah, he was head of security.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
he's also in the 1990 Night of the Living Dead, correct? He's the
he's fucking fantastic.
He is. Sure is.
Yeah.
All right, as Trevor Lyle, Helen's husband, it is character actor Hall of Fame veteran Xander Berkeley.
Hall
you
of
may know
Fame
him.
Douchebag.
He is a douchebag.
So good at it, though.
You may know him from his stints on the television shows 24 or The Walking Dead. Movie-wise, you may know him as Todd from Terminator 2, the stepdad that gets fucking got.
Oh, yeah.
And you might also know him from, this is interesting, Michael Mann made Heat, which was the theatrical release, but there was also a TV movie made before Heat that it was based on called LA Takedown. He is in both of those movies. In Heat, he is the gentleman that is sleeping with Al Pacino's character's wife, who Vincent Hanna, Al Pacino's character, tells, you can fuck my wife. You can't watch my TV.
Yep.
Vanessa Estelle Williams, who was just on the episode that me and Stu did for New Jack City, plays Anne Marie. She was also in the original cast of Melrose Place.
Who was she in New Jack?
She's the fucking the muscle. She's not the Dada Man, but she's.
Oh shit! That's how you shoot somebody. You ride up in broad daylight. Pow! Yes.
Rockabye, baby. That's her.
I fucking forgot that. Oh
yep.
Wow.
She's one of the original cast members of the original Melrose Place.
Love that show.
And she also comes back for the 2021 Candyman film, which, not to spoil anything about that, we did an episode of that a long time ago. But if you've never seen it, is a sequel. It is not a reboot or a remake.
Right.
So if you watch it, keep in mind that that's what it is.
And also keep in mind, if you watch it, that you're correct. She has not aged since 1992.
No, she looks good.
She looks good. Exactly the fucking same. Yeah, I'm like, how is this possible? I don't know how it's possible.
We all know it. We could just say it out loud. Black don't crack.
Black don't crack.
Okay. I guess
all right. It's fine. Speaking of Black don't crack, the fine ass Casey Lemons, another one that I would toss around for a little bit, plays Bernadette Walsh. But she is an actress, but she is also a director. Here's some of the things she's directed. Eve's Bayou, which I've never seen, but I've heard that name a million times. And like 2 years ago, there was Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody, that biopic. She directed that. So she's been doing that. A couple more here, two more. Stanley DeSantis plays Dr. Burke. He was in Ed Wood. He was in the 1996 version of The Fan with Wesley Snipes, and he was in Boogie Nights, and he also looks like George Costanza. He is the psychiatrist that gets ripped up in the back and later in this movie. And then finally, playing Philip Purcell is Michael Culkin. He returned in Candyman Farewell to the Flesh. He was on TV on Highlander and Jericho. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, just think about the guy that they have dinner with who looks like Benjamin Franklin. That's who it is.
Yeah.
That's
his hair is luxurious.
Yeah.
Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim.
Such a douchebag, though. Such a douchebag.
He is a douchebag, but honestly, to even jump ahead a little bit, I'm not mad at him for being a douchebag because Helen's like, we're going to bury you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did she say trounce you?
Yeah.
No,
she said bury. She said bury.
Barry? Okay.
And he pointed out the simple fact that how the fuck are you you don't even know the backstory.
Right.
He asked her, he's like, do you even know the backstory of Candyman? And
I had to laugh at that scene because the movie is building up that Helen and Bernadette are like really, especially Helen, really into this Candyman thing. And this is like, they're probably weeks into it. And meanwhile, he just tells them the whole story. It's like, how have they not gotten that far? How have they not even gotten that far?
Isn't the first thing, like the first thing you do in research is start from the beginning?
You research, you start. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Who was this guy?
Said research. Nice.
Right.
Yeah,
you found out that there's somebody named Candyman, and then you start from the beginning in your research. When was the first time Candyman was mentioned, and where does he come from? And she knew nothing. Benjamin Franklin fucking told her.
Benjamin Franklin's like,
Big-headed Ben.
Big-headed Ben's like, sure, you're gonna bury me. I wrote a paper about this 107 years ago, bitch. He's like,
the paper was flying around on a string with a key. What were you doing?
He's like, I've forgotten more about Candyman than you'll ever know.
You twat.
You fucking whore.
I guess now would be a good time to actually say the Candyman legend, right?
Yeah, what's the Candyman legend, Lloyd? And
go for it.
I don't want to sound dumb. Let's not say it 5 times. Let's not do it.
Oh no.
Yeah, because
those things.
I know we talked about it on the Exorcist episode about Ouija boards, but I just don't want anybody to think that because this is a movie, because part of the reason I picked this movie to do this month is I feel like this movie has somehow become a real urban legend in the ensuing time, right? Like, do you guys feel the same way? Like, I wouldn't look in the mirror and say Candyman 5 times. I'm not doing it.
No, I mean, it's the same legend as Bloody Mary. That was a legend when I was a kid.
Right.
Like, you light 2 candles on each end of the sink, and then you look in the mirror and say Bloody Mary 3, 4, or 5 times. I don't remember how many times. And then you're supposed to see, like, Mother Mary covered in blood or some shit. I wouldn't do that back then. When I was I was like, no, what are you, fucking stupid? They're like, oh, what, you believe in it? I don't know what I believe.
In inviting any of that.
Nope. But Larry, explain the legend.
Okay. So Candyman was the son of a slave, and his dad had amassed a large amount of money. I don't remember how, but his dad became rich. And Candyman himself was an artist, and he was his talents as an artist were sought after by local rich people to paint portraits. I'm guessing he was a portrait artist. So a rich local guy hired him, Candyman, to paint a portrait of his virgin daughter, who apparently did not remain virgin very long. Candyman knocked the boots, as they say. I don't know if they said it back in the 1800s.
Pumped uglies?
Yeah, sure. All those things. And meanwhile, the woman he was painting became pregnant. The rich guy hired a group of thugs to exact his revenge. And they cut off his hand, which I would guess is his painting hand, inserted a hook into it, because you always want to give the guy a weapon.
I never understood that. I love this movie. I'm going to just say it right now. I never understood the idea of like, let's cut this guy's hand off and put a fucking, like an AK-47 in the stump. Yeah.
Yeah. So they did that, and then they were near a local apiary. What's the fucking word? I don't know.
Yeah, apiary. Sure. Yeah. You're right.
And so these thugs were like, hey, I know what to do. Let's run over and get all the beehives and the honeycomb, and we'll fucking rub it on this guy. And he was basically, he didn't bleed out from the missing hand, but he was stung to death. So that's how Candyman died. And then at some point, he had become a vehicle to scare people with. So yeah, Candyman was created by the legend of Candyman was that that story, and then people of that area, because he was killed in Cabrini Green, he was from that area of Chicago. They began talking about him, and I suppose, kind of like Freddy Krueger, if you talk about him, it keeps his spirit alive, except for when he's taking a nap in the room. I was like, is he napping? But other than that, he's like kind of a supernatural being, right? And if you think about him, and if you say his name 5 times, he's going to come prove to you that he's fucking real, because he seemed to really want to prove himself. Like, he's like, big. You called, I got to show you. I got to show you my hook. I got to show you what's up.
He should have just come and painted a picture. That would have been real nice.
He couldn't. He doesn't have a fucking hand.
Well, just put some paint on the hook.
On the hook?
Manster, so what do you think about
What if he took the hook out and then inserted a paintbrush?
Yeah, just
Like the guy from Enter the Dragon. Remember, like
Yeah,
the guy from Enter the Dragon. He had all sorts of attachments.
He's like
paintbrushes.
What's the guy's name from fucking Masters of the Universe? Trapjaw, who's got like the hook and who's got the fucking grappling gun.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Manster, so like a big part of the legend, like Larry's saying, is that once Helen comes and kind of disrupts like the legend of Candyman, he comes back because he says, like, you took away like my power. Like because she at one point, and I know we're going through this a little bit differently than we normally do, but at one point she ends up getting accosted by a regular guy pretending to be Candyman to scare her away.
That's a question I have. So
I hear you're looking for Candyman, bitch.
There's so many. I guess there's different ways to look at it and interpret it.
Go ahead, Lloyd.
Like
Let's
you said,
talk about it.
She's doing her research.
Yep.
And she goes to Cabrini Green, and she comes across this great little kid, Jake, I think was his name. Great little actor. I loved his expressions. I love the way he delivered his lines. It was really good. But he tells her about the boy who went into that just decrepit bathroom and then got his dick cut off. And apparently that's what Candyman liked to do.
Yeah. Better off dead. Right?
Yeah.
What did he say? No point in going on. Better off dead.
No point in that. No one wants that. Better off dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
That seems fucking harrowing. The little kid like on the ground, like
so bad. Yeah.
All the blood around him and everything.
I don't care about the little kid. I care about the state of the fucking bathroom. That's my concern.
So this is later, obviously, and Helen goes in there to the bathroom. God knows why. Why would you go in there? Not going to see anything.
She was taking pictures.
Yeah.
She's the oldest undergraduate college student of all time, by the way.
They're both, her and Bernadette.
Her and Bernadette are in their like 46 each. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, like with this whole Candyman thing. Like just go work it. I don't know. Go do something else.
Anything else.
Anything else.
Yeah. And she sees the sweets to the sweet written in shit on the wall.
Yeah, listen, I have a lot of
that
friends
takes a lot of
graffiti.
fucking effort to write all that.
I got a lot of friends who do graffiti. None of them do it in poop.
Yeah.
No.
None of them.
You must have to carry a bucket with you to write.
I don't know where you would get so much poop. Really?
I don't know.
That was
because the only working toilet didn't have poop in it. It had bees.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
She opened. Remember, there was the poop arrow pointing down.
Yeah, the arrow pointing down.
And she decided to open that toilet.
Would either of you have opened that? I mean, come on.
I wouldn't have gone in, Lloyd.
No.
I wouldn't have gone in.
Not at all.
That kid was like, yep, that's where he lives. I'd have been like, okay, time to not go in there.
In that toilet.
This whole movie, anything Helen did, I would not have done. Everything.
No,
everything.
Helen's kind of a blithering idiot.
Yeah.
Like Bernadette was kind of on the level. She's like, Helen, would you fucking stop? Like, just enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bernadette at least had a head about her.
Meanwhile, fucking Helen's climbing through the fucking hole in the wall. Bernadette's like, stop. Where are you fucking? And meanwhile, when she comes back, Bernadette's sitting on the edge of that tub. It was just covered in God knows what. Why would you ever sit?
Filth. Rotten filth.
You know what I love about that scene when they go to the Cabrini Green? They go to Cabrini Green at one point to go investigate Candyman, and they dress like very Natalie because they want to give the impression that they're cops, possibly.
Natalie Merchant?
Like, yes, yeah.
Natalie Maines.
They're fuck, I can't think of a Natalie.
Natalie Cole?
Natalie Imbruglia.
Natalie
Strablowski?
Natalie
Facts
of Life. Okay, fuck you. I got it before you did. Fuck you.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, I got
Nat
it.
King Cole?
Nat King Cole. They go in dressed in
Natalie Wood
clothes. Stop it, motherfucker. They go in and I don't even remember what I was going to say. They run into some actual gang members on the way in. And what I loved about it was something I miss about the early 90s and hip hop culture is that you could be a hard ass fucking gang member yet still be wearing like the Charlotte Hornets colors, like teal and purple.
Dude, early 90s, my high school, Bullard Havens in Bridgeport, 6 out of 10 kids had that teal and purple Charlotte Hornets fucking jacket.
Yeah.
Not even kidding.
No, I went to Middletown High, large.
If your friend had one, you could never find him in the hallways because it was just packed with that fucking jacket.
Yeah.
I was like,
I didn't have the jacket, but I had a baseball cap. For sure.
You know, those kids were actual kids who lived in that apartment.
Yeah.
For
Yep.
for the majority of those background scenes, they just were like, "Hey, you want to be in this movie?" And they hired. So those kids were standing outside when they were going to start shooting.
I also
were
heard they
like,
had snipers around just just to make sure nothing bad.
They had
Yeah.
cops. They had
Yeah.
cops escort them on every time they went there.
Of course.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we're
I
talking
mean,
about Cabrini Green. Come on.
it's a great setting too, because it looks like it, because it's real, it looks like it should look, and even the stuff that they probably did on a soundstage looks great. Like when she comes through the hole in the wall and comes out on the other side and she's
Yeah.
in the
In the
mouth,
In the
the
mural
mouth
there,
mural. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
you can see-
We're going everywhere in this.
We're going, it's fine.
We're,
It's
yeah,
fine.
we're totally.
Did you notice and I don't know why I didn't remember that was Ted Raimi at the
Ted Raimi.
beginning.
Yeah.
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 I'm like,
Yeah.
how do I not remember? That's clearly Ted Raimi. Talk about that scene for a second. So you're about to hook up with this girl, right? Like you're like, hey, we're gonna hook up, and she's like, come upstairs, and she starts telling this fucking story about the dude gets his hand ripped off and a fucking
Right.
hook jammed in it, and it's like,
Look, I just want a bone.
isn't it time to go? Like, is it just me, guys, or I'm leaving? Like,
Well,
I'm like,
I agree with you on that, but I also understand that, like, to a young guy, sometimes, pussy's the ultimate. But what I found really weird was she brings him upstairs, tells him
Yeah.
the story in the bathroom,
Yeah.
takes most of her clothes off, and then says, go back downstairs. I'll be back down in a minute. Wait,
Yeah.
are we fucking on the couch, or are we gonna, why did you bring me up here to tell me that story?
just tell you the story.
Yeah.
To the
There-
bathroom.
Why
While
are
you
we
rub-
doing,
I need you to rub my titty while I say Candyman 4 times,
yeah.
and then you go downstairs and I'll finish that up.
And that's another, maybe
I'll
Lloyd
finish
had
up
this,
myself.
maybe Lloyd had this question. Maybe Manster had this question, but so does it count because she said it the first, he said it the first
He
4
said the first
times
4.
and she does the last.
Right.
And
Yeah,
then
I
he,
guess-
he shows up and kills her.
The way I see it, whoever says it the 5th time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And
Yeah,
how much
'cause they
blood?
said they said he lived. His
Yeah.
hair was white.
Hair went white because they bring up the hair going white on someone else later on too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't mention it. We talked about this off air, but I just wanted to bring this up because I think it's important, is that the initial actor that was sought after to play Candyman and that was circling it, but didn't end up doing it, was Eddie Murphy, which
That's just silly. I'd rather see Charlie Murphy in the role.
Charlie Murphy. That would have been good. That would have been good.
No, but I mean, real. Like, let's think of who could have all right. No to Eddie. I love Eddie,
No.
but no. Maybe Keith David. Keith David could have pulled this role off.
Keith David in 1992 could have pulled this role off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But that said, I think Tony Todd was perfect.
No, Tony Todd is perfect. And even Tony Todd had said that, like, he knew he wasn't, I watched an interview with him on the, I think Shout Factory DVD I have, or Blu-ray. And he goes, when they were circling Eddie Murphy, he said, I knew that I didn't have much of a chance, but Bernard Rose, the director, wanted me. Like when we met, he was more interested in it being the right fit and not the big star.
Right. Well, it's a good call.
Yeah.
It's a good call.
So some of the things going on in Helen's life, besides that, is she's married to Trevor, who is an actual professor at the college that they're both working at, or she's attending, which for some reason has like a Roman Colosseum type feel to it. What is that weird? They keep going over, because every shot in this movie is over stuff. That weird, like, outdoor stone stadium type thing. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
You're talking about the little like amphitheater?
Yeah. What the fuck is that? Like, are they in Rome for
I
those
think
scenes?
it's probably an amphitheater.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know why it is.
I liked it. I love the opening credits of that, where it just goes, scrolls.
I love all the overhead.
Over-
I think all the overhead shots are fantastic.
The overhead shots are all good. There's that one weird shot in the beginning I always forget about every time I see this, when all the bees take over the skyline of Chicago.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Kind of just this weird apocalyptic vision.
That didn't age well. That doesn't look great.
It doesn't look great effects wise, but it's still pretty cool, I think.
It's still a good shot. Yeah.
And as a mirror type thing, and we talked about it, Larry, when we did the episode a couple years ago, is if you remember, the credits of Candyman 2021 are all from the ground up. So, like, it's going through
they look the opposite way.
They look up, like it's going through the
Oh.
streets and it's looking towards the top of the buildings and everything. So it's kind of a cool,
Yep.
like turning things on its head.
Yep.
So Trevor is banging one of his students. It's very clear
Even
to
Helen.
everybody, even Helen, but she doesn't really give him too much shit about it. And her and Bernadette are writing this thesis. So the Candyman legend starts to come into play. She meets up with the Anne-Marie character who has a baby and a dog and is sympathetic towards them and actually lends them a helping hand as opposed to other people in Cabrini Green. And then Helen, on her way home one day, she does get attacked in the bathroom, as we mentioned, by a regular gentleman trying to scare her. He hits her in the face. She has the
Say the line, John.
Oh,
Say the
what does he
line.
say? What does he say to her?
Here you're looking for Candyman, bitch.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best line of the whole fucking movie. You know how many people I've said that to? Just randomly in the mall. I'll just walk up to an old woman. Here you looking for Candyman, bitch. That's not true. I don't do that.
Does she pop you in the fucking face like Helen gets popped?
No, I pop her.
Okay.
I pop her. I often carry like a large iron hook when I go to the mall.
Helen,
just in case.
Helen gets popped in the face by a large iron hook.
Yeah.
And has what I can only describe as the fastest fucked up bruised eye healing capabilities I've ever seen.
Oh, you're right.
She looks like she got hit in the fucking eye by Pedro Martinez, like
dude,
99 miles an hour.
Right. And then about 3 scenes later, it's totally cleared up.
It looks like Mike Tyson fucking cracked her orbital fucking bone.
No glove.
Some like
no gloves.
With no glove.
Yeah, bare-fisted Mike Tyson. Just fucking.
And then after she gets out of the hospital and she goes home, Trevor comes home and she's like, look, it's almost gone. I'm like, what is this, 9 months later? Because that bitch's eye would have been fucked up for a year. A good year.
Four surgeries, easy. Easy. Fucking detached retina.
The
whole nine. Seriously.
Fucking
partial blindness, probably.
Subdural hematoma. I don't even know what the fuck that is, but she's got 2 of them. Right. Yeah. So that happens, and it's essentially like, okay, she's gonna chill out maybe, but she doesn't.
No.
And she goes to meet up with Bernadette, and she ends up in a parking garage.
Oh yeah, this is it. This is it.
This is it. The scene.
That's
this
the
scene right here.
Scene. Before you guys say it, did either of you see this in the theater? Not the Strand. Not the Strand.
No, I did.
I mean, I know you saw it in the Strand, but the Strand sound system.
So I saw it in 1992 in the actual theater, and this scene rumbled and killed me.
Dude, there is no way, Lloyd, to describe hearing that voice in a true theater,
right?
With true surround sound, the bass that they put into it, the echo that came out of it. The only word I can use to describe it is unnerving.
Yeah,
it really is. It's not scary. It's just
it's scary.
Unsettling. I found it unsettling, like really uncomfortable. Like it's just like, oh my God. Like,
I mean, I got a taste of it because I have a pretty good, surround system in my house, and I did get the feel with the bass, and the depth of his voice in that scene is so, I can't even imagine it in a theater setting.
So good. Helen. Like, oh fuck.
Yeah. And the crazy part about that scene, going along with Helen's kind of idiocy through this whole movie, is like if I'm going to my car,
what?
If I'm going to my car, and some dude 40 feet away from me is standing like in a trench coat with his hands behind his back in this manner.
Chef pants on. He's got chef pants on.
He's got chef pants on.
An hourglass shaped coat that just looks amazing.
He does.
And his voice is fucking echoing.
Yeah.
His voice
from 40 feet away, he sounds like he's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, excuse me? Pardon me? I would be fumbling for my fucking keys.
She's like, do you need a ride?
Do you want to get in my car? Do you want to get in my car? So she doesn't run. So he starts this is part of the Candyman thing.
Yeah.
Is he's all jive talk. It's all like, be my victim.
Excuse me, stewardess. I speak jive.
It's all weird, kind of random, just like, be my victim. I've traveled through oceans of time. I know that's Dracula, but that's some shit he would say. He just says a lot of poetic, romantic, scary shit to her.
Mm-hmm.
And
very Shakespearean.
He is Shakespearean. And Master, what happens when he finally does approach her? What does he do to her in terms of like what we talked about earlier?
What does he do to her?
Oh. The Judas Priest song.
Yeah, he hypnotizes her. And
Here comes.
here's-
Is that KK Downing I hear right there?
Yeah, totally.
and then the weird thing is then she wakes up all bloody in a bathroom.
This is one of the craziest scenes in this movie. This is one of the craziest scenes, not only in this movie, this is like an all-star horror scene because it is unnerving. She wakes up all bloody and fucked up in a bathroom.
Yeah.
She's covered in blood.
Yep.
She doesn't know what's happened.
There's a knife next to her, though.
There's a knife next to her or a
And she
cleaver.
picks it right up.
And you hear someone screaming over and over again in the next room. She opens the door and we see a pit bull's fucking head on the ground.
Yeah.
Lopped off. She then walks into the other room where the Anne Marie character is looking into the crib where her infant was, and we don't know on first viewing.
Covered with blood. The walls are just saturated with blood.
Everything is saturated with blood. And we don't know on first viewing whether this baby is in the crib, missing, chopped up. He's missing. Candyman has kidnapped the kid. We'll just go there. But she freaks out when she sees Helen because she's convinced Helen did this. And they start fighting. And then Helen's only way to fight her off is by fucking cleaving her in the fucking arm.
Yeah.
So this is just getting worse and worse and worse.
Spout of blood that just goes out of her shoulder.
Well, Anne's not having any bullshit. There's some some bloody white woman on the floor when her fucking kids miss. She already said right when she met her that when white people come around, they seem to always make it worse for everybody who lives there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now here you go. Fucking bloody white woman in the house. Kids missing. My dog's head's rolling around the fucking floor.
Our pets' heads are falling off.
You know what bothered me, and maybe I read too much into it. Helen already knew how to get out. Just push out the fucking medicine cabinet. You don't have to go deal with. You don't have to go deal with Anne Marie or the fucking dog's head. Push the medicine cabinet and get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Agreed. Get the fuck out of there.
Agreed.
Get the fuck out.
But instead, Candyman's over there killing dogs, kidnapping babies, framing white women.
Why is he so intent on framing her?
He loves it. He loves it.
He's a supernatural being. Someone should tell Candyman, you cannot go to jail, Candyman.
Fucking gaslighting motherfucker.
He is. He Look, let's just be honest. By the end of the movie, he has somehow made it happen that now Helen,
for like 7 fucking murders.
Helen loses her own life in this framing and somehow becomes the new goddamn Candyman because of this gaslighting motherfucker.
So here's the thing.
Candywoman.
That's definitely the way that I think most people look at it. But I have other thoughts. And that's why I'm so confused by this movie, as much as I like it.
All right, let's run through the rest of the movie real quick.
Okay, all right.
And then you hold that. I'm going to come back to you, Lloyd.
Yeah.
So Helen gets out.
Yeah.
And she's put on kind of like probation. She goes back to
is this oh no, she gets fucking Trevor bails her out.
Trevor bails her out. She tries to call
who was not home.
No.
Right, at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
He said I was here as fast asleep. No, you weren't. He was balls deep in a 21-year-old. He was trying to get his balls inside of her as well. He's like, I'm going to give you the ultimate fucking. I'm going to put my balls in.
I'm going to give you all the Trevor.
Everything. Yep. Your vagina is going to accept everything I've got. Yep. So she goes home. She's on probation or whatever. And Trevor leaves her for the day. So he's like, I'm not supposed to leave you, but I got to go fuck this other girl. I'll be back.
Right.
And
20 minutes, I'll be back.
20 minutes, I'll be back. She's in the bathtub. We get to see Virginia Madsen's tits again. Yep. And she gets dressed. And then another incredibly fucking memorable and scary part of this movie happened. This is a scene I always think about and it's just the way it's shot, is she goes to the medicine cabinet and she opens it.
Oh, yeah.
And she's looking at it. And then when she shuts it, his goddamn fucking hook hand comes busting through. And it's really cool because as she's running away, it reminds me of Aliens, because there's the scene in Aliens, I think, I'm trying to remember what scene it is, but there's a scene where one of the aliens' tail is whipping and it's making a certain noise. You just see his arm whipping back and forth through the medicine cabinet as she's running. She runs out to the hallway. He's
Can I
fucking
stop
there.
You for 1 sec?
Yeah.
When his hook comes through the wall, she did not know that was going to happen. So her reaction in that scene is 100% real.
I'd have quit. I'd have just said, I'd be like, Bernard Rose, fuck off.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, Bernard, look, they were able to finish Game of Death with a Bruce Lee lookalike.
Mhm.
Find a John Amenta lookalike. Find some other fat slob with a gray beard, because I'm going the fuck home.
Right.
You fucked with me one time too many with this scaring me out of nowhere bullshit.
I got no time
All right?
for it.
I got no time for this shit, Bernard
Nobody got
Rose.
time for that.
Nobody's got time for that shit. All
I'm
right.
also not going to get stung by your fucking bees.
Oh, and by the way, Bernard, remember I told you I was allergic to bees? I was never going to do that scene. I was never going to do it.
Fuck you and your bees, Bernard.
Exactly. All 23,000
You
of
need
those
a bee
motherfuckers.
sandwich.
So she goes to the hallway. He's out there because he's fucking omnipresent. He comes back inside, he's chasing her around, and then fucking Bernadette shows up.
Yeah.
But he again, he conks her on the head with the fucking, she's getting conked in the face and the head with this hook.
Doesn't she get like hooked in the back of the neck?
Yeah, he tries. It's like a
right.
loving.
Yeah.
You would put your hand in the back of your lover's head.
in the movie Rope, a very loving
yeah. You're right.
stab.
You're right. He doesn't conquer. Or maybe he pins her in the back of the neck with the hook, draws blood, and she goes into like kind of like a semi-unconscious state.
Another trance.
A trance, but she's also she's also a little concussed at this point.
She's trying to tell Bernadette to run though. She's
Bernadette, run. And Bernadette doesn't get to run, and Bernadette gets fucking ripped up by this hook. Helen ends up in a fucking, essentially,
Did
an
you notice
insane
Bernadette
asylum.
was white afterward?
Oh, she was like blue.
She was
I thought
blue.
She had a very blue look.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a different color.
Any normal
Human.
natural skin color from anywhere on Earth.
It looked bluish. It looked bluish to me. So Helen ends up in an insane asylum at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor's kind of just said, fuck it, I'm just going to have this other chick move in with me. We find that out later.
Mm-hmm.
But her first night...
Wait a second. I need to talk about that.
All right, talk about it. The horrible color, the horrible color they paint the walls.
Rooms.
No, hold on. Before we get there, let's go in order. So she's in the insane asylum, right? And she's seeing fucking Dr. George Costanza or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, he is.
First of all, he shows her the video of when she's strapped to the gurney and she's yelling at the Candyman who was floating right over her, but in the video there's nobody there.
Yep.
So now she's like, holy shit, am I fucking crazy? She's like, I don't understand this. Like, what the fuck's going on? So she's like, I'll fucking show you the Candyman's real. Calls the Candyman, and all of a sudden, fucking Costanza gets a hook through the fucking stomach from behind.
Wait, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Because we cannot skip this, because this is a part of this movie that I'm always... It's just so bizarre. So Candyman hooks him, kills the doctor from behind.
Yeah.
Rips him from fucking groin to gullet.
From the
back.
He likes to say. Yeah.
And she's terrified.
Mm-hmm.
And then she tries to escape, all this stuff. What is the move Candyman does to escape this room? It's fucking insane.
Oh, he gets pulled by ropes. You can see them swinging behind him.
Backwards.
You can see them swinging behind them.
But what I'm saying is not talking about the effect. What he just...
It's like a backwards fly type forward, and like gets
that's what I'm saying.
It's crazy
just,
look.
It's
and that's the only time you ever see it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest like disappearing act in a movie ever. He like folds himself forward, and then like it looks like he gets ejected out of a fucking F-16, but but through the wall.
But again, you can clearly see the ropes behind him, but
clearly
it doesn't matter.
See, I never noticed that. I'm always so like weirded out by how he does that.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't float backwards out of the window. He like explodes out of the side of the building.
Yeah, right. So then one of my favorite parts. So before he leaves though, Candyman's nice enough to fucking unbuckle her.
Yeah.
Right? Because gotta frame her. Hey, this had to happen somehow. Gotta fucking blame it on Helen. So he fucking, with his hook, he unbuckles her. And she just climbs through the window, fucking scooches along to the next window, knocks on the window where some poor fucking maid, I guess, is doing.
Yeah.
And then she just jumps in and smashes the woman's head on the floor and takes her clothes. But then, so here's where you were getting. So then she escapes and apparently just runs home. I'm assuming that this insane asylum is like, I don't know, 2 blocks away, because she just runs from the insane asylum to her house, and she goes up and she finds the college student in her apartment painting pink, everything pink.
It's so terrible.
Painting. And I've always said to myself, I can't believe that Trevor has asked her so quickly to move in, but have we ever thought that maybe she owns a painting business? Maybe her family are
She's a painter.
painters. Maybe Trevor just hired her to paint that apartment. We don't, let's not be so quick to judge
Well,
here,
but-
guys.
Well,
We-
Candyman was basically a painter, right?
Don't they say in the hospital that she's been there for like 3 or 4 months?
Yeah, she does
Yeah.
say.
There is a time period. She's been in the hospital for a while.
Yeah.
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 I think it was
So,
1 month.
I think it was a
1
month. Yeah.
A month is quick.
Yeah.
Quick, but yeah.
But I'm just saying, we don't know that woman wasn't a house painter.
And
She might not be living there. She just might be painting. Trevor's paying her to paint the apartment.
Well, it's the same girl. It's the same girl
It's the
from the
same girl
earlier
at the end.
scene that
There's
he's
no-
that he's
Nobody's
clearly
ever
banging.
said she's not a house painter.
With
All
with
right.
the
I saw those
Best-
walls. She's not a house painter.
best braless T-shirt
Oh,
Yeah,
I've
that
ever
was
seen anywhere.
yeah,
that was a choice.
that was a choice. That
I don't
was a
know
real
who made
choice.
that choice. I don't know if it was the actress or the director.
It was
I'm gonna
the
go.
right
I'm gonna
choice.
defer to the director.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
the right choice.
that was one Mr. Bernard wrote. She's like, Kelly's here for her fitting, and he's like, put her in the braless T-shirt where her nipples are pointing.
Could
I
you
don't know
cut-
why, but I like it.
Small holes in the T-shirt so her nipples actually stick out. I would like.
Could we possibly tape ice to her nipples,
I'm pretty
Right
sure they
under.
did.
right
Yeah.
under her
They put
nipples? I
ice
would like
under
them
the
to be.
skin.
I would
Can
like
we
her
just-
nipples to
Can
be
we
as
can we refer
protruding.
to this as nipple scene instead of scene 7 moving forward?
Yeah. All right, we're gonna fit.
This
We're gonna-
we are getting into. I'm
Angry
stopping the
meat
nipple talk. I'm
nipple
stopping the
scene.
nipple
You're
talk.
stopping nip. All
I'm
right.
stopping nipple.
Fair.
It's gone too far.
Right.
Because, like I
Fair.
said, this woman has been poorly judged by the both of you as
No,
some
she's-
sort of adulteress, where she may just be a house painter, and we have no facts to show that she's not a house painter.
Wait a
Stop being
minute.
stop
Wait
being
a minute.
stop being a
Larry,
stop
Larry,
being a Trevor
What's going on
defender.
with you?
Stop being a Trevor defender.
All right, my favorite, maybe my favorite scene in the whole movie, if not my favorite, it's definitely top 3. Is Helen's intimidation of her
Oh
and
yeah.
Trevor in that scene where she's got the phone and she's like, "Call him, go ahead, call him." I'm like, "Holy shit!" Helen is fucking terrifying. Virginia Madsen deserved some sort of an award for that. Not for the way she handles Candyman, but for that scene intimidating the fucking piss out of the two of them.
No, she's
That might
good.
be my favorite scene of the whole movie.
She's very good in it. All right, let's get through the very end of this. So Candyman has taken the baby, and he's going to
He's
sacrifice
napping.
the baby.
He's napping.
He's
talked
taking
about
a
that earlier.
nap. He's taking
So
a nap.
Helen's looking for Candyman, right? And she's fucking because apparently this whole apparently Cabrini Green was just full of portals to different rooms that were covered in Candyman graffiti.
Yeah, a lot of Candyman a lot of rappers and shit. Yeah.
Now Lloyd said he had questions, and I've always wondered this one. I always took Candyman to be a supernatural being. You have to say the name 5 times. He's got to come back. Now he's got to come and prove himself and kill you so people talk about Candyman and so he can exist, right? But now this scene, she's walking around behind the fucking, medicine cabinets looking for him, and she just stumbles upon him taking a nap on a table.
Right. The Candyman lair.
Superman or supernatural
With the
slash
paintings on the wall of
Are his. He
his
clearly
story.
did those.
Yeah.
So he clearly did those paintings.
Well-
So which leads me to now question my theory that he's a supernatural being.
I think he's supernatural, but I think he's corporeal, right? Like he's like
If
a
he's called-
zombie-ish
If
type
he's
thing.
called, then he shows up in body until the job is done.
Maybe him, because he keeps on mentioning that he has to make everybody believe in him again.
Yes. Yes.
So that's why he's going to kill the kid at the bonfire and all that shit. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, but let's just move through.
okay.
I
I can let it go. I can let it go. I'm fine.
The bonfire starts to happen.
Yeah.
And Candyman has put the baby in the
The
center
little
of this
kid
giant.
starts it too,
Yeah.
or at least
Yeah.
orders
Jake starts it.
burn it down.
They all start to burn it down. The kid is in the middle of it, and Helen, in her state, in her hospital clothes and everything, goes in there to save his life.
Yep.
So she goes in there, but as she goes in there to save the life, Candyman's in there, and they have like a big old like fucking
family.
Whole thing
family
happens.
reunion. Yeah.
Whole family reunion, because we kind of sort of find out that Helen might be or is like the reincarnated
Pregnant,
virginal daughter,
yeah.
which that's one thing about this movie that I'm not 100% sure I'm not 100% sure I'm in on. But anyways, she ends up defeating Candyman in the pile. She drags the baby out, but she's in this giant bonfire that's already happened. She saves the baby's life. She gives the baby to Anne-Marie. She's all fucked up. Her head's all fucking baked on and caked on. And she dies there. She ends up being buried, and at her funeral, all of the denizens of Cabrini Green come to kind of like send her off.
Along with Trevor's student, the house painter.
Well, it's his girlfriend, Larry, clearly.
It's the house painter.
It's the house painter.
Yeah.
And as they walk by, they all like kind of like give this look to Helen's grave, like, you saved the baby. You saved us from Candyman.
Yeah.
And then I just think this is funny every time. The little kid Jake takes out this like 26-pound metal hook and just throws it on that nice ass casket.
Yeah, completely fucking dings that casket.
Dings.
That's not buffing out. That's not going to buff out.
That's not going to buff out. That's not going to buff out. No. But just tosses it on there. They bury Helen. Manster, what's the final stinger scene?
Well, the final stinger scene is, poor Trevor, because we feel so sorry for him, is back in his bathroom at home with his nipply girlfriend, wanting to slice up
house painter. House painter.
Yeah. And he's sad. He's clearly sad. He's finally upset because he was such a dickbag, and he watched his girlfriend or his wife burn to death. So he's just in the room. He's upset, and he starts saying Helen's name as you would, oh, Helen, Helen, Helen. Well, he's looking at a mirror, and he says it 5 times, and Helen shows up behind him and guts him just like a fucking stuck pig.
And then she comes in from making her little dinner for him. And one of my favorite parts of that scene is the fact that Trevor, who clearly didn't really seem to be the best husband to Helen, who now has exactly what he thought he wanted, is like totally not into this girl anymore.
Not at all.
Like, she's like, I want to make you a snacky snack. And he's like, what the fuck ever. He's like, I had a big lunch at work, whatever.
He's painter, guys.
I know. House painter with big nipples. But she walks in and he's just decimated, like on the tub, and the movie ends. Manster.
Right. But she is holding a knife now, so she can, look as if she was the
very possible
perpetrator.
Very possible. Is Helen going to be a gaslighting motherfucking Candyman? Yeah. So, Manster, what were more of your questions?
All right. So here we go. So when she goes into the disgusting bathroom and then gets accosted by the guy who has a hook and says that he's Candyman. And
I heard you're looking for Candyman, bitch.
Yeah. Even the little Jake outside sees that guy and he says, oh, Candyman. So he knocks her out. Blah, blah, blah. They find him. She picks him out of a lineup. And then the cop says, well, we found him. Everything's over. You don't have to worry about it. And she tells the boy Jake, everything's over. Don't have to worry about it. They caught him. And he's very upset. I mean, he has this look on his face like, oh, like the myth is over now.
No, he's upset because he's afraid Candyman's going to come for him.
Yeah,
he says,
or the gang members are going to know that he opened his mouth, one or the other.
Right.
So what's to say that dude with the hook really was committing these murders, like the boy in the bathroom, the lady, whatever her name was, through the walls. He did all the murders before. But once she saw the specter of Candyman, no one else ever saw Candyman, just her. Well, she's the only one who ever saw him and lived, apparently.
I haven't seen it in a while.
Then all the weird shit started happening after she met him in the parking garage. She wakes up, baby's gone, blood all over the place. She's very close in vicinity to where the baby was, because she could have just taken that baby, brought him through the walls, and put him in that lair. She could have done every single murder after that point. I think that maybe we're supposed to think that, or maybe, it's up in the air. But I don't even think that the Candyman character at that point was real anymore. I think she could have been the murderer from that point on.
I think it's an interesting theory. I don't think that's what I'm going to go with.
Because everything was set up like, she was, like you said, in the psychiatrist's office, and obviously she didn't have her hooks on, and the guy there was murdered. Like, who murdered her?
It does make you wonder, why would the Candyman feel the need to frame her for anything?
Mm-hmm. But exactly. He loves her. He literally loves her. He's trying to reclaim his lost love. He wouldn't be framing her.
Well, he doesn't love her.
She takes on the persona of Candyman.
I think he does have feeling for her from being maybe the woman in the past, but he has this weird thing about you've got to die for me. You have to die for me for all this to continue. It does get a little bit, I think, murky.
Yeah, it's murky. That's a good way to put it. It's very murky.
I think you're very right, and there could be a very real possibility that the Candyman murders of the Ruthie Mae woman was actually that dude.
The dude.
Gang members using the Candyman mythos to scare people.
Right.
But exactly. I think at one point, I think once Helen and Bernadette start fucking around and call him into play, I think that's when he takes over. That's when he takes over. All right. Good question, Master. Thank you. Thank you for that. Let's jump into something we do here on every Scary Larry's House of Horror episodes. Favorite kill time, kids.
Officer Hawkins, tell me what happened in here. Tell me what happened. Did Michael kill? Did Michael kill again?
All right, I'll go first. There aren't a lot in this one, but for me, clearly, it's George Costanza. It's kind of a jump scare. He fucks that guy up. He just digs his hook into that guy's asshole and cuts him all the way up to his cranium. And the guy's fucking spitting out blood and freaking out and everything. So I'm going to go with the Dr. Burke murder. What do you got, Larry?
For me, it's when Helen kills Trevor.
Okay.
That's my favorite one of the bunch. I know, it's not a typical Candyman kill, or is it? Because she may be Candyman. I don't know. But, and I've never seen the sequel, so I'm not sure if they discussed it. But, yeah, that one for me is fucking great. Just a perfect comeuppance. He's been a douche through this whole fucking movie. So time to end him. Even though he wasn't cheating, because that was clearly a house painter. He's still
all right. Fuck off, Larry. Fuck off.
What? We have no proof otherwise, John.
Oh, there's proof.
Judge not, lest ye be judged.
Manster,
take the plank out of your own eye first. Well, I'm going to agree with one of you because there's no way I'm picking a poor little kid who gets his dick cut off.
No, that's and we don't see that anyway, so that's okay.
We see enough.
Yeah,
I hate his character in almost every movie that he's in or show, so I'm going with the Xander Berkeley Trevor death.
He is a dickbag.
Yeah,
he is a dickbag. A couple years ago, spoiler for a 25-year-old movie. Maybe 2 years ago, I watched Air Force One for the first time in in many years. I had not seen that in many years. And one of the underlying subplots of Air Force One is that one of the Secret Service guys on Air Force One is working with the bad Russians. Guess who it was?
Yeah, Xander.
It's Xander fucking Berkeley.
Yeah.
And you know that as soon as he comes on the screen, you're like, he's really a bad guy, isn't he?
He's the guy that he's revealed at the end, right? When they're going from one plane
to the other. One line to the other. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Fucking
shocking. Shocking.
All right. Let's rate this thing.
Are those your grades?
Yeah. I don't think that I deserved an F. Do you?
Scary Larry, what are we rating this based on?
Whew. I didn't even think of it. We haven't done one of these in so long. I forgot that I have to come up with.
You do, Joe. Well, Joe took over.
House painters.
House painters. All right.
God.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So 0 to 5. 0 being the worst thing ever. 5 being the best thing ever. Quarter and half scale optional. Manster, what do you give 1992's Candyman in a scale of house painters?
House painters. Well, I've seen this movie a few times, but I think the last time when I just watched it recently, twice, by the way, I watched it twice, I appreciated it so much more than ever before. I guess I never really paid a lot of attention to it before. Hey, Owen. And but this time I appreciate it as more as artistic, piece of art, like an art movie.
It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah, it is so amazing. I just paid a lot more attention to it. In the story, the basically you have to keep that myth alive or keep him alive. The only way to keep him alive is to keep him in your thoughts. So I like that. It's different. I liked it different than slashers. I'm not a huge slasher fan, but I think
Slasher.
The romance, like between the characters, even though you guys, maybe I kind of feel you didn't really feel that way, but
I do.
Yeah,
I think it's a very romantic movie.
I think there's romance to it. I just don't know if I agree that it's her.
It's not a normal romance.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Normal.
It's not The Notebook.
Right. It's not Untamed Heart with Marissa Tomei and Christian Slater. That's a deep pull.
Is that the one where he has a baboon's heart? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Where the fuck did I come up with that?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
God.
I'm sorry.
All right. So I think the film has an intelligence that most slashers don't. I love the fact that Chicago, and in particular, that Cabrini Green is kind of like a character landscape. It's pretty cool. I like the way Tony Todd plays this monstrous and tragic character at the same time. It's very good. I love all the visuals, and even though I complained about it, I like the confusion you get from the movie. Like, what is really happening? Like, who is this guy real? Is he a spirit? Is he a real man? Is he corporeal? Did I say it right?
Yeah, you said
close
it right.
enough.
Yeah. So anyway, to get to my score, I really like it. I'm going to say 4.25.
4.25 for the Manster.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go slightly higher at a 4.5. And here's a few reasons why. Great cast. Tony Todd is like, there's a lot of actors out there that don't ever, even as good as they are, don't get that role that is their role, that is like their defining role. Tony Todd has done a lot of cool things, but he is Candyman, right?
Yeah.
Like he is Candyman. And it's great because here's an African-American actor who has created one of the great, look, the sequels, the two Candyman sequels that came after with him are not very good.
Did you see him?
I saw the second one.
Okay.
That is not very good. And the third one I've only heard is terrible. I think the third one might have been like a sci-fi Saturday night like production. But I did like the current sequel I did enjoy.
I liked it. I don't remember I did not like it the night you and I saw it together.
I think we both had the same feeling about it, is that we liked it, but it's one of the rare movies in the last many years that could have been longer. Most movies could be shorter.
It definitely
that movie
needs more explanation.
Yeah.
But on rewatch, it got better for me.
Yes. And I liked it the first time and I liked it again.
I think too little too late for that movie.
I didn't think so.
My biggest problem when I saw it in the theater was not enough Candyman. I was like, this is
for sure.
a Candyman-less Candyman movie.
Yeah.
And I don't mean just not enough Tony Todd. I just meant altogether. There was like not very much. The few times there was a Candyman, it was just like something quick went by in a mirror, or like
because they're trying to hide the character's identity.
Sure.
And by using that filmmaking style, you don't know you can't see who it is. I agree.
Yeah. But again, on rewatch, I was like, no, this is better than I gave it credit for the first time around. Definitely.
Yeah. So Tony Todd has struck out his own character that is super memorable. We mentioned it earlier. The score is fucking incredible. The score is bonkers fucking good. It's very atmospheric. The whole movie's very atmospheric. The filming, the shots, so much good stuff in this. The cast is very good. Virginia Madsen, I know we talked earlier and I joked around about her body and stuff, but in all seriousness, she's excellent in this movie. Xander Berkeley, you couldn't pick a better shitty fuck of a husband to play a shitty fuck husband.
Even the house painter was good. She was good.
Even the house painter was good. But when you get down to it, it's a horror movie that does have some pretty great scares. And again, it's like a piece of original fiction that has somehow pervaded the real world. Because there are people out there that, no joke, will not say this in front of a mirror. And it's something that, a lot of our fairy tales or folklore, jumped back and forth from, many, many years ago, being told down the line. And this is one that's being told from a movie. So I give it a 4.5. Scary Larry, finish us off.
I mean, you guys really hit the nail on the head. The atmosphere is incredible. The casting, the score, like you said, is perfect. A lot of horror movies like to inject some comic relief, and with good reason, right? It actually can make something scarier to break it up with a laugh and then boom, bring you back to a scary part. There is zero comic relief in this movie. This movie is all doom and gloom. There is no escape from the doom of this movie. And it's perfect. It's such a downer the only thing that was missing was like constant rain, right? Like Seven. Like it should have just been raining through the whole fucking movie just to add to the gloom of the entire thing. When it comes to 90s horror, people tend to talk more about the stuff that came later. Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, things like that. You talk 90s horror, you better talk Candyman. This is easily one of the top scares of the decade and one of the best horror movies of the decade, if not all time. This is an all-time great. It really is. I can't speak to the sequels. I didn't see Farewell to Flesh or whatever the fuck the other one was called.
Dance of the Dead or something like that. Something of the Dead date. Not Day of the Dead.
I was told, I'm pretty good with that. If I'm told by somebody I trust not to bother, I usually don't bother. Like I never saw any of the other Predators. I never saw the other Matrixes. Like I usually stay away if I'm told to stay away by somebody I trust. But I did, like I said, I did enjoy the newest one, which is, maybe should have just been the only sequel to this one in retrospect. This, like I said, you really can't do much to improve upon this movie. So it's a 4.5 house painters from me.
2 4.5s and a 4.25.
I'm going to go back. You had me go first, and I reined it in just a little bit because I didn't want to seem too overzealous.
5.72.
I was going to do 4.5, but I reined it back a little. So
change it. Go ahead.
I'm going to change it to 4.5.
Yeah.
4.5. Now, see, this is a Scary Larry's episode. If this was a regular Pint episode, I would tell you don't.
Say,
but Larry's in charge. Larry's in charge.
He'll let me do it.
Yeah, you can do it.
4.5 all the way through.
There we go.
All right. Excellent. A little bit of inside baseball. I don't have my charger near me, and my laptop is at like 4%. So, nice. Manster, very quickly tell everybody where they can find us and then say see ya.
You can find us on all your podcatchers, on your little phone there, Facebook and YouTube. It's at The Pint, a pop culture podcast, Instagram and Threads. It's at The Pint Podcast, and the Patreon Pint Insider. You know it. See ya.
Yeah, buddy.